Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. That's it, full time at Selhurst Park on our first game of the season. Everton draw 0-0 with Crystal Palace in what was sort of a typical first game of the season for me. We weren't brilliant, of course. Listen, we obviously dominated in possession. However, when it comes to creating opportunities, obviously we lacked that. I thought Gylfi Sigurdsson had a poor game. I thought Seamus Coleman had a poor game. Obviously, we've seen the introduction of Jean-Philippe Gbamin early on into the second half due to an injury to Andre Gomez. Andre Gomez went down holding his ankle, so hopefully that's nothing too serious. Gbamin come on. I think he done well. If I'm being honest with you, he didn't have an awful lot of the ball. When he had the ball, I think he done well to use his strength, use his power, use his physicality. You can see that he's a forward-thinking player. He's always trying to go, that way instead of coming back. And then, later on into the second half, with about 20 minutes to go, we seen the introduction of Moise Kean again. Didn't really have an awful lot to do. You could see that his sharpness is there in terms of his movement and in terms of his positioning. However, of course, didn't really have much to do on the ball. And overall, I just think it was one of those games where you sort of look at and you think, you know what? We weren't fantastic today, but it's a typical opening game of the season. Both teams struggled, of course. They didn't start with Wilfried Zaha as expected. He started on the bench. And I think that gives sort of an excuse for Crystal Palace as to the reason why they struggled to create opportunities. Everton, on the other hand, we had quite a full-strength squad out. Like I said, some people maybe would have preferred to see Moise Kean start. Some people maybe would have preferred to see Jean-Philippe Gbamin start. However, we had a decent side, a decent strength side out. Obviously, Gylfi Sigurdsson should have done a lot better, had an opportunity within the first 5 minutes and didn't put it away. We had a couple of opportunities, good opportunities throughout the game, and we didn't quite have enough in the final third. And that's what we knew coming out of last season. We knew that we needed players to come into the club that could have got that cutting edge and can put the ball in the back of the net. When we're doing everything else around the pitch, we haven't got the creativity in the final third. And obviously, as soon as we seen Jean-Philippe Gbamin come on, we seen obviously that he presses high up the field. He likes to use his physicality to win the ball. Moise Kean as well, although we didn't see a lot of him on the ball, so he can't really be judged. You can see in his movement, he's making the right move. It runs. He's trying to get into the right positions as well. I think Richarlison struggled, to be honest with you. I think it was a frustrating game for him. We've seen games like that for Richarlison before, where he just gets a little bit frustrated with himself and, obviously is constantly trying and constantly trying, but it just doesn't come off for him. The biggest negative of the game, I suppose, is Morgan Schneiderlin picking up a absolutely stupid red card, picking up a yellow card at the start of the game, or not the start of the game, firstly for punching the floor in anger, which is ridiculous anyway, and then obviously a stupid challenge when you're on a yellow card. Especially with the referee of Moss's ability, you don't put in challenges like that when you're on a yellow card. Obviously getting himself sent off, and all of a sudden we went into the game sort of looking a little bit vulnerable in the centre-half position, of course, like we've all spoken about for the last week, and we've come out of it looking vulnerable in the central midfield position with Gylfi Sigurdsson obviously not looking fantastic today. You've got Andre Gomez, who's limped off injured. Hopefully it's not serious. Fabian Delph, who's injured. Morgan Schneiderlin, who's now suspended as well, of course. Tom Davies come on. I actually thought Tom did quite well, to be honest with you. He was using his body again, and he was trying to break up the play and trying to make sure that we could at least get a point out of that game. And it is disappointing, because at the end of the day, at the start of the game, you were hoping that would get 3 points. You were hoping that would get the win, but it become more apparent towards the end, especially after the especially after the sending off, that we were going to settle for the point. And I suppose that's a little bit tactical from Marco Silva, because you're away from home. If you get a point away from home, it's not the worst result ever. However, we could have been a little bit exposed if we'd have tried to push. I actually think both centre-halves played well today. I think Yerry Mina and Michael Keane played well in the defence. Like I said, Luca Dean having a solid game as well. There wasn't many defensive errors. We let Crystal Palace get in a couple of times. Jordan Pickford made a couple of fantastic saves. However, overall as a whole, I think they were quite solid. Like I said, Seamus defensively, I didn't have an issue with him. It was just going forward. I think he still looks a little bit hesitant, and I dare say that when Djibril Sidibe is in full training, when Djibril Sidibe is available to play, Seamus is going to have to up his game. He can't be standing there scared to run past the last man. We were breaking with pace at power at times, and he would pick the ball up and he'd stop and he'd look for a sideways pass, and that isn't what we need. We need players that are going to burst forward and get balls into the box, especially if you've got a player with the talent like Moise Kean, who his positioning is obviously on point at the minute. But anyway, that's my instant match reaction. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Crystal Palace 0, Everton 0, a boring start to the season, a goalless draw, no action whatsoever other than a stupid red card by Morgan Schneiderlin. Like I said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Leave a like if you have enjoyed, and I'll see you soon.